Afternoon, Adrian. Good afternoon, everyone. What a lovely day it is in the East Ridings of Yorkshire. It will be a great day for either Hull City or Sunderland. 90 minutes away from Wembley, 2 steps from the cup final. It's time to grasp the glory. Clark Carlisle is with me. Who are favourites?
Well, you've got to say that you've got to fancy the home team, Sam, with such a vociferous support, and also maybe the visitors being jaded after their visit to Wembley less than a week ago.
Hull have to fill the void left behind by the cup-tie Nikita Jelavic and Shane Long. Changed the system from last week's defeat against Newcastle United. And they were uncharacteristically beaten here. Sunderland still riding the crest of the wave that took them to Wembley, even in defeat. There were a lot of positives to come out of last weekend's League Cup final. Six changes by Gus Poyet today from that showpiece event. Fletcher is one of those. Tom Huddleston hacks it away. How much disruption does it make to a team when you make 6 changes a week after a cup final?
Well, it's the fact that it's the week after the cup final, and the cup final that they've lost, Sam, that I think is the greatest disruption, especially having an international week where a lot of Gus Poyet's players were away from the club, so he didn't have time to put his arm around them, you know, maybe try and build their confidence with a little bit of team bonding. So they've had to fend for themselves. I think that's probably been the greatest disruption since.
Here's Colback, he's got Bardsley on the near side, Desena bursting down the left. Here's Giaccherini trying to make his presence felt early on. No, he's lost the ball. And the referee, Craig Pawson, has pulled him up. So over the head of Desena, who was pushed in the back by El Mohammadi, according to the linesman on the far side. He's protesting his innocence.
Well, you always see the challenges flying in early. It almost looked like El Mohammadi tripped into the back of Desena, but he did definitely push him in the back, and he can't have any complaints about that one. This is going to be a lively one today. Such a huge carrot at the end of the stick.
Well, neither of these two are safe in the Premier League just yet. In fact, Hull may well be 6 places and 6 points above Sunderland in the league, but if Poyet's men were to win their games in hand, they'd be level on points with Steve Bruce's side. As Gus Poyet indicated to you and I, though, there's 2 games in hand at the moment, Manchester City and Liverpool. Here's Sagbo. Also got the game against West Brom to fit in as well. Figueroa. And Shoni Aluko. And for Fryatt. There's Aluko again. Space for Figueroa. Fryatt's peeled off towards the far post. Sagbo lurking within 10. Desena gives it straight to David Myler. Hull keeping it alive. Figueroa's cross. It's a deep one! And it hits the top of the crossbar. And Oscar Astari was completely outfoxed by that. Huddleston. El Mohammadi. Desena blocks it.
Well, Astari waves that one away as though he thought that was drifting well over the bar, well out of play. Flummoxed by that one.
Well, he's played for Boca Juniors, been capped by Argentina twice, but he was caught out by that from Maynor Figueroa. A left wing cross which almost stuck in behind him. Fryatt, good combination on the far side. Senior's cross. Starry comes for this one, and that's a little bit more comfortable for the Argentine goalkeeper.
Oh, it's an excellent recovery from Astari after making that mistake. And look, when you're a goalkeeper, you can't guess at whether things are going wide or whether they're going over the bar. You often see a lot of goalkeepers tip things over, and with a replay we say, oh, that's well going wide, but the goalkeeper can't take the chance, because that might be an inch worth of difference, and that's rebounding back into play for a Hull City striker to get on the end of. He must tip that one over.
In his third start in the Sunderland jersey after a January move. Here's Virginie. Another one of the changes, looking for Scocco. Alessio Scocco, who made the move in the January transfer window too. Only his second start for Sunderland today. Signed for £4 million. Gus Poyet identified him in South American football and bought him from Internacional. Catamol, always a live wire in that Sunderland midfield. Sunderland fans in great spirits. Roughly 4,000 of them who have made the journey here today. Last week they were taking over London for the weekend. They were in Covent Garden on Saturday night. Sunday they were drinking in the delights of Wembley. And they were in full spirits, and it really was an occasion for them to behold. Here's Fletcher. Desena. Senior with a crunching tackle.
It's an outstanding tackle from the senior. Love to see good, solid, firm tackles that are within the laws of the game going in nowadays. Game being very much clinicised by the referees. It's good to see a bit of physical contact every now and again.
Mohammadi's just being nudged to the floor with Desena, turning into an interesting battle.
Oh, we saw one go the other way earlier with El Mohammadi pushing Desena in the back. A little bit of retribution there from Andrea Desena. See that battle develop as the game goes on.
Huddleston pings it forward. Davis has come up from the back. Sagbo nudges it back to Myler. Here's Figueroa. Hull's league results have been mixed. 2 big wins in the last month took the pressure off. They still have big games to come. Davis has stayed up here. Sagbo going up with the Starry, but the goalkeeper confident enough to bring that into his chest.
That's a second good delivery in a couple of minutes from Maina Figueroa down this left-hand side. And it's testament to what Phil Brown was saying before the game. You know, the interchanging of the front players for Hull City. Not only does that cause the defence problems with those 4 players, but it also opens up the space for Figueroa to go marauding down this side and El Mohammadi down the other.
Luca. It's a good jink inside. Still got it. Sagbo's made a run towards the near post. Aluko's still going. Well, it was an interesting run from Johnny Aluko.
And again we see it, the wide players just coming in off the line, the committing players to them. Shunny Aluko this time, and you'll see the gap that he's vacated. There's Rosinia filling in, offering the width. It's so important when you get forward players that come in centrally, that someone fills that space that they vacate and gives wide options.
A lot more onus on Aluko, Sagbo and Fryatt to make an impact today. Most of the games in the FA Cup so far have been against lower league opposition, and they've had to come in and replace Jelovic and Long because of the fact that those two are cup tied. But this is a different ball game. Desena. Chester. Onto El Mohammadi. Colback goes across. He's been a solid servant for Gus Poyet, Jack Colback. El Mohammadi looking to whip that ball in again. Into the air by Bardsley. Fryatt tussling with Catamol. Desena under pressure. Fryatt back to El Mohammadi. Well, the foul's gone against El Mohammadi.
I think referee Craig Paulson's just let it go, and this is one of those situations where you often find the conversation goes where it doesn't have to be a dive if it's not a foul.
Well, John O'Shea having a word with Craig Pawson. It's not the only one. Lee Catamol getting involved too. Feels as if El Mohammadi should have been booked if that wasn't a foul. El Mohammadi had a quick word with the linesman on the far side, Dave Bryan. Engaged him in conversation for a while. Craig Pawson's had a difficult couple of weeks. He had to deal with the wrong side of Billy Davis last week.
I think he's got this one right, Sam. There's a coming together of the players, but it's more shoulder to shoulder. El Mohammadi's just been out-strengthened that one, and the ball runs out for a goal kick. Well done, Mr. Pawson.
Chester felt he was fouled there. And a couple of stoppages earlier in the game. Sagbo. Here's Fryatt. Giaccherini with a little nick. Marlowe's attempt to get the ball round the corner has given it straight to Bardsley, but he in turn has returned the favour. Good ball by Curtis Davis. Here come Hull down that right side again. El Mohammadi, Fryatt. O'Shea just blocks his attempt to try and get the deflection. El Mohammadi's flick on. Fryatt trying to reach that, but not managing to steer that goalwards. Scored twice in the fourth round when they knocked out Phil Brown's Southend. Deputising today for that man Shane Long, who's left holding the baby. In the back of your picture there is Paul McShane with the crutches. Another one of Hull's long-term absentees because of injury. Luco gambling, Regini nudging it away. Scocca bringing Catamol into play. Giaccherini. Figueroa trying to get in front of Bardsley. He's left the gap behind him. Giaccherini with the delivery. It's easy to collect for Alan McGregor.
Well, it's the first time that Sunderland have got into any meaningful territory in this game. Giaccherini getting into the channel, whipping the ball. It's an easy one for McGregor. Well, it has been quite a lacklustre start for the Black Cats.
Luco tussling. I think he wanted a handball there, Sonia Luco. Tom Huddleston penalised for a challenge on Lee Catamol. And that's going to be the first yellow card. All fans not happy about it.
Well, that's an interesting one, Sam. You can see that the foot is high. You know, we saw a red card yesterday for Jonathan Walters. And he caught someone high on the knee, and you can see there in the replay, he got Lee Catamol with a little taste of his own. Getting him on the calf, and again, Craig Pawson getting the decision right.
Steve Bruce has never been to a semi-final as a manager. The last time he was in charge of a team in a quarter-final, it was Birmingham City. Phil Bardsley getting his feet all wrong. And that quarter-final that he took Birmingham City to, he will remember for a long time. They lost 7-0 to Liverpool. His FA Cup memories are much better as a player, winning it twice with Manchester United, captaining them in 1994.
I've been fortunate enough to play at Wembley twice, Sam, but one of my biggest regrets is missing out on a domestic trophy final. We were beat by Man United at Villa Park, but these guys are just one step away from Wembley.
That ball was one step too far in front of El Mohammadi. But that has been fertile ground so far for Hull City on that right-hand side, where the sun is just shining.
It has, and Phil Brown alluded to it before the game. You know, we watched them against Brighton and they played some outstanding football, but I don't know if Steve Bruce has identified a lack of aerial ability in this Sunderland defence, because as soon as Hull get into the wide areas, the crosses are coming in far earlier, and we're seeing Fryatt nipping across the front post, and whether it's Aluko or Sagbo coming in at the back post, that's definitely a tactic that they've employed in this opening quarter hour.
Sunderland yet to find their rhythm. Maybe the thoughts of Wembley still difficult to shake off. Curtis Davis into Colback. Desena breaking away on the left. Fletcher arriving in the centre. Here is Stephen Fletcher. Curtis Davis with another strong header. Here's Giaccherini. Taking on Figueroa. Comes inside. Lovely little back heel to Bardsley. Low cross. And it's steered over the top by Scocco. That was a good chance for Sunderland.
It was an excellent opportunity and a great passage of play from Sunderland. This time as Giaccherini cuts inside, we were just saying, when you vacate the wide area, someone's got to fill it, give you the width option. Bardsley actually collects the ball this time instead of bumbling it out of play. Fizzes one across. Scocco needs to hit the target.
He's still awaiting his first Sunderland goal. It's only his second start for the team. Chester's header's gone straight to Colback. Fletcher has moved out to the left side here. And that's the first corner of the game. John O'Shea and Phil Bardsley in conversation. There's a bit of wrestling going on inside that penalty area. Craig Pawson will have to keep an eye on this. It's flicked into the air by Sagbo. O'Shea waits for it to come down. Myler is close for company. Nancy Fryatt went diving in there to try and stop them from running any further forward. If they'd come off better on that challenge, they may well have had a decent counter-attack on, because Aluko was joining very quickly. Disappointing ball in the end. Well, no manager has taken Sunderland to Wembley twice in a season. It will only serve to enhance his glowing reputation if he is the first to do it. No doubt they've improved on the pitch since he took over. Maybe the best thing he has done is improve the mood off the pitch.
He definitely has. It seems like a much happier workplace, much happier in the stands, much happier in amongst the squad. You know, we're not seeing any of the squabbles in between the players or the newspaper stories about what's going on in the training ground. That's testament to the work that Gus Poyet's done.
Had the best chance of the game so far. Ignacio Scocco. It's a little bit sloppy. He's a very charismatic man, that's for sure. Catamol just being penalised for his foul on Aluko.
I know he does have a reputation for being a terrier in the middle of midfield, but after taking that one from Tom Huddleston, I think you can almost guarantee that someone will see some retribution at some point in this game. Lee Catamol is not a player to let things go.
I thought for a second they were going to launch that in. They didn't. They went down the sides instead. And here's Myler trying to exploit that. And Catamol is across to stop him from doing so.
It's great seeing the mix of play that Steve Bruce has got this side playing, whether it's 3 at the back or 4 at the back. You know, they don't always launch it in. Sometimes they like to build down the side. Sometimes they like to hand on and play. Sunderland are going to have to be switched on.
Have got Curtis Davis up from the back again. He has scored 2 goals in his last 2 games. Huddleston delivers it in, punched away by Ustari. Comes back to Aluko. Feigns to shoot. Maybe takes one touch too many, and now Hull could be caught on the counter here. Giaccherini. Fletcher screaming for it far side. Desena coming up in support. Larson free in the centre. It's behind him and away by Figueroa. Kept alive by Bardsley, who's thwarted by El Mohammadi. That's going to be a free kick in quite a dangerous position for Sunderland.
Yeah, he's nicked one there, Phil Bardsley. Feels a little bit of contact from El Mohammadi. Falls to the ground very easily, but it all stems from Hull City's corner. Phil Brown will tell you that it's not usually the first phase of play on a corner that's important. It's second and third. Keep the ball alive, retain possession. Now they end up 80 yards back and defending their own goal.
Alan McGregor just shaping up his wall. Did travel to Poland in midweek with Scotland, but didn't play any part. Sunderland players are queuing up. Sebastian Larsson, who can distribute a free kick from this sort of range. Ignacio Scocco's there too. I think it will be Sebastian Larsson. Some way out. It's gone towards the far post. It's a good header back in by John O'Shea. It was a delicate little move, an inventive one. Just couldn't pull it off. Davis with the header away. Colback wrestling for the ball. It's come through for Fryatt. It's good feet by him. Here's El Mohammadi. Senior. El Mohammadi whipping it in. Fryatt waiting! Only narrowly wide. Superb delivery from El Mohammadi, and Fryatt oh so close to putting Hull City in lead.
It's a fantastic opportunity. We said as soon as the ball gets wide, these Hull City players, they're not waiting, they're whipping it in the box. And Bardsley's livid with Virginia. He thinks he should be picking Fryatt up, but it's excellent centre-forward play. He's in the gap between centre-half and full-back. He just needs a firm contact. He tries to guide it into the far corner. Let's get a firm header on that, and that should be Hull 1-0 up.
He thought that was the opening goal. You mentioned Santiago Virginie there. Did make quite a big error in the 4-1 defeat at Arsenal a couple of weeks ago. Wes Brown backed him to the hilt this week, saying that he will be a top centre-back. It does take a little while to get used to the rigours of English football. Sunderland got away with one there. Giaccherini. Fletcher. Giaccherini's gone bursting towards the left. Desena. Here's Colback. A bit of space for Giaccherini. He's attempting to squeeze that out to Desena. Catamol. Sunderland growing in a little bit of confidence. Giaccherini out to Desena again. Colback. O'Shea. Davis engaging Stephen Fletcher. Doing very well again. Fryatt wins the header above O'Shea. Here's Rosinha. Very reliable Liam Rosinha, whether he's playing at left wing back, right back. Figueroa miscontrols. All that football coming up over the next week or so, but tonight we've got highlights for you of all of the action in the FA Cup, including Manchester City and Wigan and Sheffield United's victory over Charlton. 10:45 tonight on ITV. And on Tuesday night, Arsenal attempt to fight back against Bayern Munich, who won 6-1 yesterday, rather dauntingly. That's 7:30 on ITV. Giaccherini just manages to push the ball in Desena's path. Colback keeps it alive. Needed someone outside him, didn't have that option. Larson. Desena again, fizzes it in. There's 2 or 3 waiting for it. Scocco takes it well wide, and the opportunity went away from them. There's a clutch of red and white shirts in there for him to aim at.
Well, Sunderland committed many players to the attack there. And you're right, when Colback opened up on this right-hand side, it was vacant, there was no one there, and Phil Bardsley couldn't be. It couldn't be because Desena had already committed himself to the attack, and you can't have both fullbacks going when you haven't got a midfielder sitting in. Very unfortunate for Sunderland there.
Here's a cup tie which is very much in the balance. Sunderland don't have a great record against Hull this season, but they have won on 3 of their last visits to Hull City. Aluko. Catamol this time going in on Myler. Myler, who has had a week of controversy himself after his incident with Alan Pardew.
It's a clumsy tackle from Lee Catamol. We see all the Hull City players now getting around the referee, getting around Craig Pawson. When a player's got a reputation, this is what you do, you play on it. You get in the referee's ear, you say, look at him, ref, there's 1, there's 2. Making the referee maybe book him before it's actually due. That was a clumsy tackle from Lee Catamol, but it's not deserving of a yellow card. And that's what match management does by those Hull City players.
Well, he was sent off here in November in the first half. He will not want to suffer the same fate today. Gus Poyet would be desperate that he doesn't either. He's not happy about that at all.
Well, we were shown up to our seats by a steward who saw that Lee Catamol was playing, and what did he say to us, Sam?
That'll be a free yellow card. Huddleston, flick on by Sagbo. It's just behind James Chester, who was coming in at the far post.
Well, they brought some set pieces straight off the training ground, but I think Sagbo might have been better trying to take that one in instead of flick that one across the goal. maybe chest it into his path and get a strike away. There wasn't enough pace on the delivery for him to guide that into the far corner.
Well, Steve Bruce is having a quick word with the fourth official, Mike Jones. Not entirely happy himself either. This Poyet has gone back and sat down inside the technical areas, which are some way away from the pitch here at the KC Stadium. And we don't want to get too heated down on the touchline. We know how it can overspill. We saw that last week here. Virginie. Giaccherini. Nipping in his Friat. Huddleston disappointed with himself that he couldn't find El Mohammadi with the pass. Starry kicking clear under pressure. Well, Gus Poyet has said that he had to warn Astari that goalkeepers aren't untouchable like they are in other parts of the world. Scocco penalised for that foul, which they've taken quickly. Chester and Scocco are still talking as the play develops. Here's Sagbo. Friat waiting for it. Gets another header in. He takes another deflection and pops behind and away for a corner this time.
Well, again, Sagbo and Friat involved. All things good about Hull City. You see Matty Friat, he takes up an excellent position as a striker across the front of the centre half. Virginie can't let him get there. He needs to be stronger with his upper body. Get your arm across and stop him if you have to.
Luca back to Huddleston. Again, slightly uncharacteristic from Tom Huddleston. El Mohammadi. Sagbo stayed in. Saved in towards Friat. Davis arriving. Pops back out to Aluko, trying to turn. And it's a penalty kick. And Sebastian Larsson has tripped him, according to Craig Pawson, the referee. A controversial moment. Sunderland players are absolutely furious. But he didn't hesitate, Craig Pawson.
He didn't hesitate, Sam, and that's what makes me think the back leg was taken away. And you can just see, as he's trying to plant his foot, he plants it on top of Seb Larsson's foot, sweeps his back foot away, and that is a definite penalty. It was unintentional, but it's a penalty.
Well, Sebastian Larsson is pleading his innocence. He's having a word with Shawnee Aluko too, trying to put him off before the penalty. Shawnee Aluko, who scored 8 goals last season before his Achilles injury. He's going to be charged with the responsibility. His only other goal this season so far came against Newcastle United. Now he has the opportunity in front of the Sunderland fans to put Hull City in front in the FA Cup quarter-final. A little bit of disruption still going on the edge of the area, being orchestrated by Sebastian Larsson. Aluko steps up, and it's saved by Astari. It wasn't the best of penalties, but it's the best recovery by the Argentine goalkeeper from his earlier mishaps.
Well, after 2 earlier errors, Astari totally redeems himself. It's a fantastic save. Say it's not the best of penalties, but he has to get down low. He has to keep his arms strong, and he gathers it in so that no one can get on the rebounds. Fantastic save.
Here's Sunderland at the other end. Giaccherini, still Giaccherini, trying to curl it in towards the far post, and wasn't too far away. Well, a fascinating couple of moments, and a big moment for the Sunderland's newest goalkeeper.
You see in Astari there, he's pointing to his goalkeeper coach on the bench. So I know that they do a lot of research now about all the places that previous penalty takers went. And if you're going to side foot it, you've got to hit the inside netting, Shawnee Aluko. Steve Bruce can't even bear to watch such a big moment in the game. And from the crowd reaction, he knows it didn't go his way.
Shows how much it means to him. Luka didn't look confident, did he? As he stepped up. I wonder just how much the pressure from the Sunderland players on the edge of the area had on Shoni Aluko. He's been suffering with that Achilles injury at the end of last season, beginning of this campaign. Wants to get into the Nigeria squad for the World Cup. Doesn't have much game time in the Premier League. Here's Skoko. Davis across. Davis back at him again. Myler covering. Larson. He'll be feeling much better about that tackle now. Aluko into Larson again. Giaccherini. Aluko wins it back. They will need him just to shrug off that penalty miss now. Figueroa. Sagbo. Luka wants the ball. There's lots of space on the far side, the right. The senior is trying to exploit that. Fires the ball in. It's a good save by Astari again.
It's an excellent striker. Fantastic switch of play. It all just opens up in front of Azinia. He thinks I'll have a pop, and Astari, he's not going to let anyone pass him from 12 yards. He's not going to let him pass him from 32.
Had a nervous couple of moments in the first few minutes here, but redeemed himself, that's for sure. Huddleston into Astari again, who's fast becoming a favourite of those 4,000 supporters behind the goal. His throw was intercepted by Rosinha. Here's El Mohammadi, flick on by Fryatt again, comes back to Myler, takes a bobble into the chest of Virginie. And they managed to scurry it away, Sunderland. Good feet from Stephen Fletcher. Not the best ball by Desena. Skoko did very well for Sunderland. Here's Giaccherini to Skoko, allows it to run across his body. Headed away by Myler, picked up by Bardsley. Developing into a good game now. Larson. Virginie's continued his run. Skoko wants the foul, isn't going to get it. It was a little bit elaborate. Craig Pawson has come under a lot of pressure today, but so far, apart from maybe the Lee Cattermole yellow card, he's got the big decisions right. Cattermole. Well, a cup final defeat can send you one of two ways. You can find it difficult to get over, or you can be inspired to chase the dream again. The Sunderland supporters are trying to chase the dream again, and they have been helped out by their goalkeeper's save from really and truly what wasn't the best of penalties from Shoni Aluko. Larson, Fletcher, trying to thread it through to Giaccherini. Cleared away by Rosinha again.
Well, we've seen it happen in previous years. You know, we saw it with Bradford. You know, they got beat in the League Cup final, and then that inspired them in their league form to actually get themselves back to Wembley and win that second occasion. You know, but talking about today's game, I can't tell you how much of a lift a penalty save can give you as a team, Sam. You know, especially when you've had such a lethargic start to the game.
Well, Sunderland's cup form has had a positive impact on their league form too. Since beating Chelsea in the League Cup, they've picked up 15 points from 10 games. Gus Poyet will hope that A win today will have a similar impact. Fire. Genie and Barnsley tidying up for Sunderland. Goal back. Here's Sebastian Larsson flooding the box again. Barnsley's on the overlap. Steered away by Huddleston. Larsson. Giaccherini. Taking a little deflection and McGregor had to be alert. Fletcher was arriving. Mohamed trying to take it beyond Desena. O'Shea, who won this competition in 2004 with Manchester United. Started that game at left back at the Millennium Stadium. May well have been a versatile utility player at Manchester United in his time, John O'Shea, but he's very much a linchpin of this Sunderland squad. Giaccherini trying to weave his way into a crossing position. He's in another corner.
Excellent defending by Rosinha. Doesn't get done by the body shapes from Giaccherini, just follows the ball, matches him stride for stride, doesn't allow the cross to come in. It's good full-back play.
There's two Sunderland players on the edge of the area. Barnsley and O'Shea caught in conversation. Fletcher has moved into a penalty spot. Making sure he's not an arm's length away. Genie's just gone to make a run on the goalkeeper. It's come out to Fletcher, away by Davis, who read it beautifully. And that's an easy catch for Alan McGregor. I'm sure he's wondering now whether or not he's going to end up like his manager Steve Bruce and never get capped for England. There were a few that were a little bit surprised when he wasn't called up for the 30 against Denmark. I think the feeling from Roy Hodgson was that he wanted international players with experience. Giaccherini trying to open Hull up again. Sagbo, space here for Aluko. Trying to thread it through, again he goes down. There was a bit of an opportunity to squeeze that out to the far side, the right. Al Mohammadi arriving, but he went for the central option, gobbled up by Ustari.
Well, we were talking before the game about how Gus Poyet's going to have to lick the wounds of his players, pick them up for this game. But I think at half-time, you know, it's going to be Steve Bruce who's going to have to do that to his men, because they've dominated for the large part of this first half. But after missing a penalty, it can have a huge psychological effect on your side. Whereas Sunderland, that was the shot in the arm they need. They'll be thinking, we might be able to actually go on and win this one.
Well, they've had such a terrific run in the cup competitions this season that maybe another trip to Wembley is on the cards. Sometimes happens like that, doesn't it? Remember Middlesbrough back in 1997 getting to 2 cup finals. What Sunderland won't want is to suffer the same fate. They got relegated at the end of that and lost them both. Well, his save at the moment has been the biggest moment of that first half. Catabol. Well, Figueroa conceding a foul.
There's a bit over-eager there, Figueroa. Going to toe poke the ball away from behind. You have to get it in the first movement. And he tries to swipe his way through. Gives the free kick away right at the end of the first half. Wholly unnecessary. Just stay on your feet and show him back the way.
Well, this would not be a good time to concede a goal for Alan McGregor. It would be a great moment for Sunderland if they could carve open this stubborn Hull City defence. Larson whips it in. O'Shea arriving. He steers it too wide, and that is the half-time whistle. No one can start thinking about making plans for Wembley just yet. Shoni Aluko may have had the arch in his sights, but Astari had the penalty in his sights too. The Sunderland fans delighted with that particular moment. The highlight for them of the first half. At the break, it's Hull City 0, Sunderland 0. Analysis on the way with Adrian Lee, Roy and Phil Brown next. No changes at the break for these two. Gus Poyet and Steve Bruce happy to stay with the 11s that started the game. There are 45 minutes to go. It is the FA Cup quarter-final. It is all or nothing. Someone's chance to make a name for themselves. Here's Rossignol. They had a good first half. Luco trying to keep it alive. Colback comes across. Well, his penalty miss was the biggest moment of that first 45 minutes. Well, we'll be wanting another big moment. Here's Rossignol. And that's a mistake by John O'Shea, Matty Fryatt, and then Huddleston got the shot all wrong. It's a little bit sloppy from the Republic of Ireland international and Sunderland captain.
It's always a danger, Sam, when you take a touch as a centre-half in your own box. Try and get your head up. You need to know what you're going to do with the ball before it comes to you. John O'Shea didn't know what was behind him then, gets the ball nicked off him, and if he'd have tried to swipe that clear, they'd been in danger of giving another penalty away.
Fryatt finding Aluko. Myler is making a charge forward. Coming in from right full-back Phil Bardsley. I think that Phil Bardsley was so far out of the picture under Paolo Di Canio. Seems remarkable now with his string of performances. Is it another sight of goal? Had the best sight in the first half and didn't manage to convert it. Can't allow it to play on his mind. Here's Huddleston. Sagbo. It's to check his run. Friat waiting in the centre. Al-Mohammadi coming in at the far post. Still Sagbo keeps hold of the ball, teasing the Sunderland defenders. He teased David Myler but didn't produce the ball that was required. Skocko. Davis with a challenge. Larson. Given away. And David Myler has his ankles nips. A few faint chants around the ground of Curtis Davis for England. Steve Bruce was a little bit surprised that he wasn't called up for international duty. There are a few more who were slightly underwhelmed by the suggestion that Tom Huddleston, his teammate, wasn't in the 32. None least than Mrs. Huddleston, Tom's mum, took to social media to voice her displeasure. Tom said he's given her a right rollicking as a result. Here's Bardsley. Figueroa. This is Friat. Lots of space for Al-Mohammadi. Aluko. Here is Al-Mohammadi. Rossignol trotting into the box too. Aluko sets it up for Huddleston. Flipped into the air by Catamol, who was knocked off his heels by that. Astari showing his juggling skills in the right fullback position.
Oh, it's his second sighted goal that Tom Huddleston's had in the opening couple of minutes this second half. Very similar position to Yaya Touré's effort against Sunderland just over a week ago, but he doesn't miss the first defender.
Lee Catamol is a warrior. He will shake that off. Here's Friat. Good tackle from Skocko, helping out his midfield. Giaccherini. Desena flips it into the air. Round the corner for Huddleston, who's fouled. And the scrappy nature from the first half has continued into the second, Clark.
It has, Sam, and you know, a lot of the players in the midfield are making the most of these contacts and these little niggly tackles. I think they know that the referee, Craig Pawson, has had just about enough of the contact in the middle of the park, and they're trying to get each other in the book.
Friat. Colback comes across. Here's Friat again. O'Shea whips this one away. Reversed by Huddleston to Al-Mohammadi. Another good delivery. Away by Virginie. Bit of pressure here from Hull. Al-Mohammadi. Decent delivery. Dealt with brilliantly. No one attacking that ball. It's a couple of times now he's delivered good crosses in from that wide area. So both thwarted by Catamol. Paulson helping out. Oh, Sunderland get it back rather fortuitously. And then Bardsley and Giaccherini got in each other's way. Here comes Al-Mohammadi again. Teasing his way past Desena. Needs some support. Rossignol provides it. Header in by Catamol. Keeps it away from Naylor. Here's Catamol again. And Larson's made a decent run into the wing position. And James Chester wasn't entirely sure about that clearance.
Well, he's tried to send it back where it came from, but he's just shanked it out for a corner. We've seen a couple of quick changes of possession this opening 6 minutes, and because it's a do-or-die 45 minutes, both sides committing a few extra players to the attack. We've seen both defences left 3v3 on the halfway line. That can only spell trouble.
O'Shea's come up from the back for this one. Virginie is being marshalled by Huddleston. Larson whips it in. It's towards Virginie. It's over his head, comes back to Colback. Keeps it alive. McGregor watched it all the way. Doesn't score too many goals, Jack Colback. 2 goals in 26 starts this season. However, did score an important goal against Newcastle United. And that goes down in folklore for some time to come. Larson. Straight out of play. Well, someone's got to take the game by the scruff of the neck. It's not very often you get the chance to go to Wembley. Sunderland went there last week, but prior to that, it was 1999. Twice in a season would be nice for Gus Poyet. The only other time that Hull City have managed to get to Wembley Stadium was in the Championship playoff final against Bristol City. And that was in 2008.
As a player, Sam, it's what you dream of. You dream of playing at the home of football, winning a trophy there, and none bigger domestically than the FA Cup. For my early memories of football, Everton, Liverpool back in the 80s. Some fantastic, memorable cup finals. I was desperate to go there myself. Unfortunate to fall one hurdle short. These guys have got the opportunity to actually get there and realise their dreams.
Just have a quick look at this for us. Senior and Colback. Senior seeming to delay his reaction, which has upset Gus Poyet. So much so that the two were ended up pointing and pushing one another. Not pushing one another, pointing at each other down on the touchline. Pushing their chests out. Davis. There's the ball goalwards. This is Gus Poyet being a little bit annoyed with Liam Rossigna.
He is very angry about it, but it's good to see that David Myler's stayed well away from this one. He's learnt his lesson.
Yeah, much talked about last week's incident involving Newcastle United's manager and David Myler. But Alan Pardew stuck his hands up and he's taken his medicine. Quite expensive medicine. Here's Figueroa. Looking to send Sagbo away. Barsley gets in front of him and the ball's too long. Looks like George Boyd is about to enter the fray. Most huge substitute so far this season in the Premier League. He's featured in 31 games for Hull City. Only contributed with the 1 goal. He has played a variety of different positions.
An ironic cheers from the Sunderland fans as they actually get a foul, one of the referee's decisions. Well, the guy said at half-time there was a distinct lack of quality in this game. And they've been in some fantastic positions, both sides, where they've outnumbered the opposition, but they just haven't been able to make those numbers tell. I don't think it's going to be too long before we see a change by one of the managers try and address that situation.
Fabio Barini is warming up down in front of us too. Something to do with his energy and industry. Virginie. Striding forward. Fletcher, little flick behind Colback. Decina has drifted into the left wing position. O'Shea, not the best of balls forward. Sagbo will whack it clear. It's gone a little bit flat, hasn't it? Maybe the Hull City supporters can lift their team. Foul by Bardsley on Figueroa. These punctuations don't help.
They don't. It's, you know, the constant breaking up of play. No team can get into any rhythm. And their passing quality has also contributed to that. But we're talking about a guy who might be able to conjure something out of nothing. Boyd did it all his while at Peterborough. He's been really quite creative while he's been here at Hull, and they'll be hoping that he does the same today.
Be a straight swap. Boyd will go out to the left-hand side. Only goal that he scored this season for Hull City was in the battering here against Fulham. And that has represented one of only 2 victories since Christmas here at the KC Stadium for Hull City. The other one coming against Brighton in the last round of this competition. Over El Mohammadi's head. Luko chasing. Mohammadi's picked it up again. Senior. Here's El Mohammadi. The best clearance by Katama, almost came through to Mile. Here's Friat. El Mohammadi. Luko drifts it in. And there was a bit of holding going on the edge of the 6-yard box. Friat went diving in.
Oh, Matty Friat's not made much of this, but my instinctive reaction was that John O'Shea's all over him, look. He's got one arm on his shoulder, he's got one arm on his elbow, he's pulling him back. Without that distraction, you think that Friat would have a good chance of getting on the end of it.
Fletcher getting on the end of a long ball at the other end. That was a controversial moment for Craig Pawson to officiate on.
He's got the majority of decisions right today, but have a look where Craig Pawson is. He can't see that. Not only has he got John O'Shea in his way, but he's also got Boyd in his way. There's no chance of him being able to see that directly. He needs his official, his assistant on this near side to help him with that decision.
Well, Mike Malarkey is the most experienced official. He's operating on this near touchline. We'll be going to the World Cup alongside Darren Cann and Howard Webb.
You know, it shouldn't be like it, but you always feel as a player that, or as a team, that if you get a penalty decision, it's highly unlikely you're going to get a second one in the same game.
Here's Skocko. Back to Larson. Bardsley. Looks for Fletcher. Away by Davis. Hacked clear by El Mohammadi. Catamol sends it back. And Hull have it once more. Here's Aluko. Can he conjure up a bit of magic to make up for that mistake in the first half? Senior. Here comes O'Shea to stop him from going any further. And he may well have sent Sunderland on the attack here. Giacorini. Larson bursting clear. Just delayed it slightly. Skocko. And Curtis Davis was all over that. Knew exactly what was in the mind of Sebastian Larson. And went to meet the danger before it developed into something to worry about. El Mohammadi's found Myler. Still going, Myler. Works it back to Aluko. Boyd just couldn't get enough on it to steer it past Astari. Was very scrappy in that 18-yard box. Looks like there's a problem for Myler in the area at the other end. Hull still coming forward. Support arriving now. He's up, but he's moving gingerly on the edge of the D in the middle of your picture. Meanwhile, Johnny Aluko has fired the ball straight out of play, looking for Matty Friat.
Oh, Myler did take a knock in the build-up to that, but again, Matty Friat getting himself in an excellent position. George Boyd was locking in the back post, but it was fantastic defending from Phil Bardsley once again to snuff out the attack.
He's had a busy week. Might be a busy few weeks for these two clubs, should this end up going for a replay. Gus Poyet, knowing that if they were to go through today, they'll end up having 4 games to play in the last couple of weeks of the season. Could be 4 games in 8 days, and if you're trying to survive a relegation battle, that is going to be incredibly tricky.
Yeah, but with the logic of Jose Mourinho, he'd rather be in that position than where Hull are with 5 points on the board. I've got to totally disagree with Mourinho, you know. Steve Bruce will be more than happy with their position and with their points tally on the board, rather than having to work against the clock, against the depleting fitness of their squad to try and rally points at the end of the season.
Gus Poyet was talking to us about the next game that they've got upcoming against Crystal Palace, saying it was akin to a World Cup final. It was that big for Sunderland next week. It'll be that big for these supporters. They'll have to make it feel like that at the Stadium of Light. Both Myler and Bardsley are moving. Virginie. Larson finding Catamol. Skoko has made a run here. Got in behind El Mohammadi. Now trying to shoot. Retain effort in the end.
There's a discussion going on between Rosini and El Mohammadi, and El Mohammadi's telling Rosini he's took too far in, and he was too far over, covering in behind his centre half. He needed to be aware of Skoko out there.
Well, there's a bit of wrestling going on the edge of the penalty area there, involving Fryatt and Virginie.
Don't think there's too much in that. Virginie just standing his ground. He's entitled to do that. He was there first.
Central Defenders Union in action once again. Santiago Virginie, who was very good against Southampton and Kidderminster when Sunderland didn't concede. And they haven't conceded so far. And again, it helps if there are any shots on target, and there haven't been too many of those today.
There hasn't. It's been devoid of the quality the guys are talking about in many areas, and not just the likes of that 50-yard pass there, but even the short 5, 6, 7-yard passes that these players should be making 99 times out of 100. And they're falling short, or they're behind someone, so it checks their momentum going forward. Really needs to be an improvement in this closing half hour.
Well, it looks like they're going to make a change very shortly. Hull City to try and add a little bit of impetus here, but prior to that, Craig Pawson wants to have a word with Ignacio Skoko. Skoko is refusing to speak to him, and when eventually he does, he gets a yellow card. Now, I think that was for this reason here. Here are the changes. Johnny Aluko's afternoon didn't get any better. Robert Corrin, the club captain, comes on to replace him. He has been to Wembley 3 times as a player in his career. Been to a Wembley semi-final with West Bromwich Albion. He'd love to go again. Maybe he can inspire them to that. Sunderland hoping that their changes will do that for them. Giacorini coming off, and Adam Johnson coming on. And the Sunderland fans have responded to that with admiration. And Fabio Borini gets a roar of approval from the travelling support, the 4,000 that have made the journey down from Wearside after scoring the opening goal in the Capital One Cup final last weekend. They've rolled the dice.
Oh, you're looking to game changers on your bench. Sunderland have brought on their two powerhouses. Let's see what they can produce in this final 20-25 minutes.
Well, the first thing they've got to do is defend a corner kick.
Now, Matty Fryer has worked hard all afternoon, moving John O'Shea, not as mobile as he used to be.
It's not exactly a corner kick, obviously it's a free kick, but it's right by the corner flag. Maybe just a little bit better than a hockey short corner. Chance for Tom Huddleston to try and find one of those amber and black shirts. Huddleston looking for Davis. He's done it again. Oh my word! 3 goals, 3 games, and Curtis Davis has put Hull on the brink of a Wembley semi-final. Steve Bruce delighted.
It's a magnificent header, Stan. Look at the way that he rises at the back post, arches his back, and we said it about Matty Fryer in the first half. When the cross comes in, head it back the way it came. Don't try and glance it. You're more likely to get a firmer contact heading it back across the goal, and he does, and it nestles in the far corner. It's an outstanding header from Curtis Davis. Finally, a little bit of quality in this game.
Curtis Davis has sent Bruce into heaven. Gus Poyet now has got something to think about. Just seconds after he made those big changes, Hull have gone up the other end and taken the lead. And Curtis Davis now has 4 goals, and currently he's the top scorer in the whole side on the field. And 3 of them have come in the last 3 matches. It was a really forceful header. Great time for Hull City to score the goal. Just after those Sunderland changes too. And the supporters know that they don't see these occasions on a regular basis. An FA Cup quarter-final, a chance to take their place at Wembley for only the 2nd time in their history. But they haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 5 home games, so Sunderland still will fancy their chances. That was heavy from Chester on Barini. Here comes Johnson. Good tackle by Figueroa. Barnsley was backing him up though. George Boyd was doing the same job for Hull. Here's Cattermole. O'Shea looking for Fletcher, being chased by Chester. Fletcher trying to twist and turn. Chester sticking with his task and eventually conceding the corner. Well, with 20 minutes to go, there will always be one chance. You just have to take that chance. Don't think that quite counts as being in the quadrant, do you? Larson aimed it towards Fletcher. Good header away. Boyd making a nuisance of himself. Cattermole's got Myler to worry about. And worry about him he'll have to do. Corrin is arriving. Myler might go on his own here. He does! And surely now he's sent Hull City to Wembley. A breakaway goal from a Sunderland corner, and the former Sunderland man may just have knocked them out of the FA Cup.
Oh, it's a cardinal sin, Sam. When you're attacking, when you've got a corner, you need to make sure that you're locked in at the back. And Lee Cattermole, that's why he's there. He's there for his defensive awareness, because he doesn't usually take chances and he doesn't step onto the bounce. Myler gets there first, and when he gets here, he ignores the overload, he ignores Corrin alongside him. If you do that, you've got to stick it in the net, and he does. It's a fantastic finish, well composed, and Hull are well on their way.
Never before has he taken a team to the semi-finals of the FA Cup as a manager. Gus Poyet is getting involved in something down on the touchline too. He's in an exchange with Mike Jones, the fourth official. Maurizio Taricco is down there to try to act as peacemaker. He's furious. Well, it's been a interesting week for David Myler. But it's now Hull City who've got their heads out in front. Well, it's still not resolved down on the touchline. I'm not sure what Gus Poyet's complaint is. Not too many complaints for those Hull fans. Here's Fletcher. This is out to Huddleston. Chester. Here's Rossignol. Virginie just manages to nick it away. Wyatt goes in. Virginie a little bit unsettled. Complained to the linesman that he was being pushed.
And the whole team looks a little bit unsettled now after that goal. It's going to be a very tough task for Gus Poyet to pick his side up. You said, Sam, it was a perfect time to score just after they brought on their big guns, just after they thought they were going to try and take the impetus in this match. The bubble is burst by 2 goals in quick succession.
Slipped by Astari. El Mohammadi fancies his chances. Not going to get the chance. Well, we had some interesting celebrations yesterday when Samuel Eto'o prepared to be an old pensioner. Is that a reference to last week's incident, do you think? Maybe. Just maybe. He's a cocky, funny lad, is David Myler. He keeps the team spirit up. He likes the crack. He is an Irishman who has constantly underlined the need for team spirit. El Mohammadi. Fletcher accused of pushing El Mohammadi again. Plenty to ponder. End of a Sunday. Wembley seems far away again. Not so far away for them. How quickly it changes. El Mohammadi. Myler. Boyd still fighting for it. Virginie taking control. Well, that's a poor back pass. This comes straight through to Fryett. Well, he wasn't going to make a mistake from there. But boy, there was a big one to set him up. Hull City take a 3-goal lead. And Sunderland are the architects of their own downfall. It's a huge error.
I don't know what. You see, Virginia looks over both shoulders, he drops it off, and Cattermole can see everything in front of him. He can see the full half of the pitch. So I don't know how, unless Matty Fryer has just moulded in to the sea of Hull City fans behind. But you give Matty Fryer an opportunity like this, and Astari has no chance. That is game, set and match. And they're dependable. Lee Cattermole, the one who's usually so on the spot when it comes to defensive responsibilities and snuffing out danger, he's given Hull 2 chances and they've gobbled them both.
I don't think he likes coming here, Gus Poyet. He said he's come here and played a couple of good games and still lost. Found himself down to 9 men here earlier in the season. Almost had a chance to get an equaliser, still ended up losing the game. And they've caused themselves problems again today, not by losing men, but by gifting goals. And Lee Cattermole, who was so important for Sunderland last week in the Capital One Cup final in the first half, has just made a huge error to make sure that Hull City are in such a position that it's probably unassailable now. It was probably going to go their way anyway, and he will not enjoy looking back on that moment. Hull City on the verge of joining Arsenal and Sheffield United in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Well, it's the last substitution. Stephen Quinn coming on. It's probably the last glimpse of Sunderland in the FA Cup for him. For this season anyway. Figueroa. He's had a difficult couple of weeks himself, Figueroa. Made some key mistakes. Had to bounce back from those. Also been on a transatlantic fight over to Honduras in midweek. Managed to play today. Corin. Cattermole trying to squirt it forward. Mohammadi. This comes to Sena. Here's the substitution. Stephen Quinn coming on. And El Mohammadi coming off. They absolutely adore him here. One Hull fan named her dog after him. Called him Elmo. Went to Crufts last week. Actually won the People's Choice Award, would you believe? He was a very popular puppy. He's a Jack Russell. Actually might have been more active if it was a cross. El Mohammadi is very good at those. He doesn't look it, but I'm sure inside he's absolutely delighted. Huddleston. Figueroa. Hull City have embraced the occasion. Had fans down here early today, sampling the atmosphere and building things up. And this is building up nicely for them again here. Just over Corin's head from Boyd's cross. Johnson just took that out of play.
A great bit of trickery from George Boyd on the wing there. Just talking about players who might have some creativity within them.
Barnsley away. Well, it's going to be difficult for Gus Poyet this, isn't it? It's going to be difficult for the fans too. She wouldn't have seen Hull go to Wembley very often. He was at Wembley last week. How will they react after a defeat against Manchester City in the cup final and a hefty defeat here? Here's Corrin. Myler wasn't too far away.
Well, they're thoroughly enjoying themselves now, Hull City. See all the Olays going out, everyone's having a pop. Myler having another effort from 20 yards. Steve Bruce will have no worries about the confidence of his side. But Gus Poyet, on the other hand, it's going to be incredibly difficult to pick his guys up after this. The majority of their season has just become unravelled in 7 days. It'll be a testament of how he manages them individually, psychologically, pick them up for the long road ahead.
The next couple of fixtures will be key. Palace at home, Norwich City away from home. And they go to Liverpool in midweek and then follow that with a game against West Ham. 3 of those 4 games may well be the ones that lift them away from danger or condemn them to a real scrap to the end of the season. Hull City still might face a scrap to stay in the Premier League, but they will be going to Wembley. You don't have to wait too long to find out who they will be playing at Wembley. The FA Cup semi-final draw follows this match. Hull City will be in that bag. Quinn colliding with Barini. Barini penalised. Desena looking for Fletcher, and it's easy for Alan McGregor, who hasn't really had too much to do in the entirety of the 90 minutes. Well, it's a winding road that takes you to Wembley. All started back at Middlesbrough. Round 4 was down to Southend. They almost conceded before they went ahead. Round 5 saw them to Brighton. Back again up here after drawing down at the Amex. This, and now the arch beckons for only the 2nd time in Hull City's history. Time for Clark to identify his man of the match.
Oh, battle of attrition it really was for the majority of the game, but someone who stood out in that battle was Curtis Davies, and he actually came up with a first bit of quality to break the deadlock. He's my man of the match.
Here's Boyd. Trying to get round the outside. No goal, no free kick. It's a goal kick. There's the man who scored from a free kick. Curtis Davies, his 3rd goal in 3 games. He's been solid and dependable at the back all season. He's been part of what has been quite a resolute defensive back line. They have one of the best defences in the Premier League, considering their position in the table. Here's Quinn. Chester looking for Boyd. Hull City growing in confidence and enjoying their football. Fans are enjoying it too. They will drink in this occasion. Thoughts will go back to that game against Bristol City. Now they flooded Wembley that day. It's another bright sunny day back in May 2008. Phil Brown took them to the Premier League. Steve Bruce wants to keep them in the top division, as well as enjoy some success at the home of football. After a scrappy first half. A couple of mistakes and a goal from a set piece has changed the nature of this game and sent Hull through.
Well, we saw in the game against Brighton here that they matched a football inside with football, and we've seen today that when the battlers of Sunderland have come to town, they've matched their battle as well and come up with a little bit of quality to separate the two sides. Two totally contrasting performances, but in both Hull have excelled.
That's developing into a little bit of a battle too. Phil Bardsley just being spoken to by Craig Pawson. No need to take any more serious action at this stage of the game. Frustration will creep in. They will feel they've missed a chance again today. Here's Desena. Across to Catamol. On to Larson. Johnson. Fletcher is waiting in the centre. Led away by Chester. And Boyd brings it clear. Marlow has spotted his run, which has continued into the Sunderland half. Corrin arriving for support. And that was a rather agricultural challenge from Bardsley.
It is, and following on from what we just saw between Boyd and Bardsley, you know, Craig Pawson might be well to get a grip of this one. You know, the truth is that when you've seen your dreams just be shattered, when your game has totally gone away from you, there is a tendency within players for someone, they want someone to pay the price for that. And it does happen that you kick out. That's why I've been very impressed that Lee Catamol's kept his composure for this remaining half hour, and Phil Bardsley needs to follow and do the same.
Huddleston will take the free kick. Chipped towards the far post, and it was dipping, but nowhere near quick enough. Robert Corrin couldn't reach it in the end.
I couldn't tell whether Tom Huddleston was actually shooting for goal here. I've seen him shoot from some audacious positions. The way he strikes the ball, very unorthodox, gets some wicked dip on it.
Well, many of the Sunderland fans felt that despite the cup final defeat last week, it was an occasion that gave them back their identity. There's been a prolonged period in the doldrums. They were lifted last week. And this week has been a little bit of a different story. Barini is coming back into position, not going to get booked for kicking the ball away. 3 added minutes. And your decision has just been announced to the crowd about Curtis Davis, and they're happy with it. Here's Johnson. Away by Chester. Collected by Barini. Chester blocks it again. Well, grew up a Manchester United trainee, grew up a Manchester United fan, James Chester. Remembers watching Eric Cantona lift the FA Cup at Wembley. These whole players have similar visions of themselves, replacing some of the key imagery around this football club. Lots of pictures of successes through the years. Lots of pictures of Ian Ashby at Wembley. Wayne Brown getting into the Premier League. Create a little bit of history of them, their own here, Hull City. Days like this don't come around too often. It's not been the easiest of seasons with the name changing, bubbling under the surface, but it might turn out to be their greatest campaign ever if they can stay in the Premier League and win a trophy. Wow. It will be some achievement for Steve Bruce. Why not Hull?
And why not indeed? You know, you get to this stage where now they're going into the last four, a 25% chance getting their hands on the trophy. And as a player, you're not thinking about the history of the club. You're thinking about getting yourself to Wembley and lifting that FA Cup. That's your first and foremost thought. All the history and the accolades, they come after.
Stephen Fletcher just struggling with an injury, only came back from injury last week. They are enjoying the occasion, they're revelling in the occasion. The old school rattles are out. That was the kind of support that Hull City would have got when they last went to a Wembley occasion. The old-fashioned support similar to that in 1930 when they were last in an FA Cup semi-final. And they are through to one again. For only the second time in their 110-year history, Hull City are going to Wembley. Steve Bruce takes a team to an FA Cup semi-final for the first time. Curtis Davis got the ball rolling. David Myler ensured that it was going to happen. And the fans of Hull City are absolutely delighted. They have new heroes. Hull City have beaten Sunderland in the FA Cup quarter-final, and they will march down Wembley Way. Hull City 3, Sunderland 0, the final score.